Hello there and welcome. In this video I got you 10 different tips and tricks for a good start in Super Fantasy Kingdom. We're going to be talking about various things that you can do to get yourself a better start into the game and get yourself a couple of extra days survived. I hope this video helps you out. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Let's get started with number 1. Max out your workers. This is the first thing that you should always get done at any point of the game. When you are able to build yourself a new house, storage capacity wise, go for it. And when you can upgrade those worker houses, go for it. Workers are your backbone of income. With workers, we have the capacity to earn more money. Without workers, we don't. The more workers, the more income. It is that simple. Therefore, we want to stockpile as many of these as we can, and we really want to amp up that number as one of the very first targets every day and whenever we can. Number 2, food production. While food is easily overstocked, it is never a bad thing to have much of it, because food is something that we can trade upwards. It is a good that we can use to upgrade buildings. We can even build buildings with that. The Fisher Hut directly upgrades your berries into fish, basically. And all in all, food is a very, very powerful multi-purpose resource that will help you out on many, many ends. And I have never really regretted to have food. Quite the opposite. I actually end up not having enough. But what I want to point out here is that even the lowest rungs of the ladder have their usage, because higher quality food, higher XP, stronger troops, because actually the XP matter a lot when it comes down to the punching power of your units. Which brings me directly to number 3. Max out the amount of units that you possibly can feed, and this is basically what you want to do whenever you can spare a dime to recruit somebody. When you notice that you have more food than you possibly can spend, this is actually the point when you want to recruit somebody. What I also want to point out is the day 6 visit of Jbolt is something you want to spare 10 coins for. This is a free unit that you can recruit there. It's a random unit, one of the unlocked ones that you got, and missing out on this opportunity, well, it hurts your development, sort of, because you will not get the opportunity to recruit this type of guy ever again for the remainder of the run, because look at the calendar, ain't coming again. Therefore, 10 coins for day 6, and whenever you feel like you can spend a dime to recruit a troop, you should go for it. My personal manner of or technique of approach is to look at my coin count. If I can't really afford unlocking the next slots around my troops, I also don't really need new troops. If I am on the other end swimming in coin, it's the other thing. What I really want to point out here is you always want to try to invest into your kingdom first. This is really important that you focus your income sources, because the earlier you get these going, the faster we get our snowball going. In short, we want to buy as little troops as we get away with and spend as much money into the kingdom as we possibly can. That's pretty much how it sums up. All right, so which brings me to number 4, carriers. Each kingdom has carriers because in this game resources get deposited in the workshop before they get transported to the warehouse where they get processed. In short, we need logistics here. Buying yourself a extra building for carriers as quick as possible right after your worker max is really good, and after that, a new carrier should always be taken when you start noticing that stuff is lying around in your storage for a longer period of time than you want to. Here, you really need to look it up from time to time. There is no basic rule that I have found that works best. You just gotta look it up, and when there's enough resource to hire another carrier, go for it. You can't really have too many of them. Eventually, you just produce so much. The more workers you got, the more carriers you basically also need. Number 5, prioritization of upgrades. So in Super Fantasy Kingdom, we can upgrade practically everything we build, and also troops. Upgrades for troops don't influence their base stats, it influences their attack pattern. But it also does really a lot for them. When we look at the crossbowman, he basically doubles and triples their damage once he's there. And if we look at other units like the Cyclops here, 3.4 second per attack goes down quite a substantial amount for just one upgrade. In short, upgrades increase the damage per second but don't touch the stats. Therefore, they are something that you can delay a little bit. What's really important is to find out the upgrades that matter really a bunch for your current kingdom. To give you a hint, what here, for me personally at least, matters a lot, the quarry can be upgraded to get a road builder, which is something we need as quick as possible because all our small buildings need to be connected to a stone road to be upgraded. And since this guy needs a really long time to get his job done, we want to have that as quick as possible. Other candidates, the lumberyard upgrade, I also find extremely useful because eventually you'll run out of trees if you don't go for that. And also, in terms of long-term investment, the happiness increase on the tavern is really strong, gives your units more damage, and gives new units more XP. This is quite powerful. In short, we have a plethora of places where we can put our resources in, and it's up to you to diversify what's really important. I can only say the quarry and the lumberyard are much more important than the tavern, for example. Here, playstyles differ, and I don't want to say this is the one right way of doing it, but you should always take here the same thing into account. We want to spend as much money into our income generation and as little money into our troops as we possibly get away with. Same logic applies. So, number 6, extra jobs and income drain. So, when you employ a road builder, that guy will continuously work as long as he's employed, marked by a little yellow star that can be turned off with a right mouse button or on. What's important to note is he does this guy, and none of these extra guys, not the forester, not the road builder, does drain your workforce. They do that autonomously. The only thing they do drain is your money. All in all, I have found that with the castle alone, you can spend one of these guys and still earn a little bit of coin. Once you have the church upgraded, you can get away with 2 of these. And later, eventually, 3 can be handled, but you will not really have a real income if you don't have extra buildings like the decoration here. Can only recommend. Anyways, let's move on over to number 7, castle upgrades. Castle upgrades are really important. They're basically upgrading your kingdom another tier, because whenever you upgrade your castle, you upgrade the maximum storage of your castle. Every further building eventually requires more resources. So as you see here, the next house cannot be built without the next castle upgrade. Therefore, castle upgrades are, once you have set up maximum workers, maximum income, maximum troops, should be then the next thing on the list. So for us here, we need gold. That's why I built already a sawmill, because I know that the gold mine requires planks. So the gold mine will then the next thing that we are going to set up, and so on and so forth. Beelining towards the castle upgrades is very, very much worth it in my opinion, because you just get here again the opportunity to build your new workers faster, and faster new workers, you get the idea already. So let's go for number 8, physical versus magical. So the game lets you decide each day what kind of enemy you want to face against, and when you check out here, this is really important to note. Your units have multipliers against certain enemy types. The swordsman is especially powerful against magical targets, as is the Cyclops. The general verdict here of the game is magic units are strong against physical units and vice versa, but I strongly recommend looking up the units specifically, because I have found a lot of things where I was surprised that one type of archer is strong against physicals, and the other type of archers is not. So to make really sure that you're on the right path, look up what the actual modifiers say. But in general, it pays out to have a build that tries to get down towards a certain type of damage, but you can't afford to build entirely against magic or entirely against physical, because the bosses that you will face will be much harder if your build is just nudged towards one direction. Try to be as balanced as possible with a slight nudge towards a specific type of damage, and you're good. So, number 9, keep experimenting, try out new stuff, pick up things that you haven't used yet, and yeah. It's really important to note that overall, you thrive in terms of kingdom levels, and kingdom levels are what brings you forward by trying out things that you haven't done yet. Whenever you get to select something that has a tag new, you should consider ruining your run by trying it out, because more kingdom levels mean more coins when you start out, more different outposts that you can use. These are pretty sick. They offer you free resources. In short, kingdom level really gets you forward, but you need to try out things that you haven't done yet. And here everything counts. Relics, units, everything. I can fully recommend to try out buildings in that regard. For example, the siege camp offers a lot of troops that you can just try out and use. And yeah, when you feel like you're being stuck at a certain level, try out buildings that you haven't done yet and try to get yourself more kingdom level up and running, because it really makes things easier. Especially the outposts that we can build eventually make a big difference, and starting coin is also powerful because there are so many places where we can put coin towards to that are also giving us momentum and speed. So force up your kingdom levels, it's really worth it. And number 10, the last thing that I want to talk about, late game industries. So each kingdom has certain industries that are harder to achieve. For the human kingdom, I find the steady bread production, bread and beer production, one of the things that is really hard to attain and maintain. Alone from the building places, it's really, really difficult. Therefore, my personal recommendation is use your building slots in so far that you can upgrade your castle completely, and then try out something new with the remaining slots. Don't try too many things that you are not grown enough for, because it won't get you too far. I found that the full upgrade of the castle is really, really powerful. You need, for humans here, to get yourself ingots. On the undead, you need books, but altogether, this investment is really, really worth it, because this allows you to max out the upgrades on your troops, because, again, storage. Short verdict here, don't fuzz up accidentally with things that don't give yourself kingdom progression towards upgrading your castle. When your castle is fully upgraded, feel free to try out new things and experiment around. Here again, kingdom experience matters, and yeah. The rest is up to you. I hope this video was helpful for you. I really did my best to summarize things that I misunderstood or took way too long to understand. Seriously, the extra workers here, you wouldn't believe how long I thought that if I do this, I have to employ somebody to have trees planted. Drove me nuts. So in this regard, leave me your comments. If you have anything to add that I have missed out, feel free to add. I might be playing this game frenetically since its release, but I'm pretty sure I might have missed out a spot or two. So leave a like, leave a subscribe, consider donating via Ko-fi or any other given means. I'd be delighted to have your support. Of course, a big thanks to all the supporters out there, and a big, big thanks to you for watching this video up until the very end. Thanks for your time and attention, and see you all next time.